This is my multi-purpose workspace for virtual reality, filmmaking, and music. Now, this is a collection of gear I've attained over a few years. By no means is it fancy, but it works well enough for me that it serves its purpose. First up is my headset. This is the Vive Pro Eye headset with eye tracking, and it's one of the most comfy headsets I've worn. However, one problem is that the built-in mic is hot fucking garbage. To remedy that, I use the Antline audio mod mic. Here's a comparison to show the difference.
Check, 1, 2, 3. Check, 1, 2, 3. Check.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Paired with this headset are the Vive controllers. They work well for most applications, but I don't like using them for shooters. That's because I have to press and hold the enter buttons in order to hold the guns in game, and over time that gets tiring. There have been times I've accidentally released a weapon or grabbed something unintentionally during an intense game, which gets frustrating. Now on to full body tracking. For that, I use the Tundra trackers by Tundra Labs with EOZ belt and foot straps. The trackers translate most of my real-life movement into VR pretty well. They're lighter than the Vive trackers and they don't get in the way of movement. The EOZ straps are both soft and stretchy, and as you immerse yourself in VR, you tend to forget you have them on. Because this is a PC VR setup, I use 2 Steam base stations that I nail to my walls. The tracking works for the most part, but in certain positions I do lose tracking, so I think I might add a third one down the line. To make sure I don't trip on my headset cables, I use the Kiwi design pulleys to hoist them up onto the ceiling. The only problem is that I have to spin myself every now and then to untangle the cable. And in order to keep myself in place while playing VR, I use a mat from Cat VR. Moving on to the PC. As you can see, I'm using a compact mid-tower case, the Fractal Design Meshify C. I'm rocking an Asus ROG Strix 3090 GPU, a Ryzen 9 5900X with a Noctua NH-U12A and 64GB of RAM. Now some of you may be asking, how did you fit a 3090 in a small case? To do that, I just used a Thermalite slim fan for the part where the 3090 couldn't fit, and the rest of the fans are Corsair's SP120s. All of this is kept together using the Asus ROG Strix X570E gaming motherboard. And I just want to say I'm digging how my PC looks, especially with these Lian Li streamers. Ugh, so beautiful. Okay, I'm tired being down here. Let's move up to the desk setup. Yes, as you can see, this is a dual computer setup since I got the Mac to the side. Here are the specs. Yeah, I know it's old, but it's what I got. Anyways, let's continue onto the PC side of things. For peripherals, I'm using a Mac keyboard, a Mac trackpad, and a Logitech G305 mouse. For the monitor, I'm just using an old Sony TV I had before I even got a PC. It doesn't do 4K or 120Hz, but it helps me get things done. Down here I have an Atomos Ninja Flame that I use to monitor OBS, and up here I have the Sony a7S with a 16 to 50mm zoom. Next to it is a T8 Quasar tube light. As for audio output, I use the Sony MDR XB950N1, and I have a tiny magnet to attach my Antline mic. As for these speakers, I use the PreSonus Aris E3.5s paired with a sub-8 subwoofer under my desk. This here is a Scarlett stock mic mounted on a Gator Frameworks arm, and both of the mic and speakers are routed to my Focusrite Scarlett Solo audio interface, which is then routed to my Mac. Why so? That's because my Mac is mainly for music production, filmmaking, video editing, and productivity in general, so most of my work is done here. It's held by the Ergotron LX monitor arm, and holding this all together is this old desk my dad gave me a while ago, and I have no idea what brand it is. Probably something local. It's not a standing desk, but I made it into one by using bed risers, which perfectly match my height so that my forearms are parallel to the desk. What I like best about this desk is the internal storage. So lots of cables, hard drives, and other tools I frequently use. As for the chair, I use the Nilsurik standing support from IKEA. It may not be the most comfortable, but I can put it to the side to save space while playing VR. In addition to the chair, I use the Ergofoam XL footrest so I don't have weird posture. Now on to the music side of things. This right here is an Ibanez GRG 7-string guitar with stock pickups. It's not the best, but it works. Right below it is an Ibanez SR305 5-string bass, also with stock pickups. Then on the other side, I have an acoustic guitar that I barely use. And finally, we are onto the filmmaking portion of this video, and for that we'll bring our attention to this tabletop I got from IKEA with the mid-back trestles. How does this pertain to filmmaking? I mainly use it as a workstation when building out cameras, organizing film gear, or even doing laundry. When I'm about to play VR, I disassemble it and put it to the side. And for the camera besides the A7S, I have an FX6 cinema camera. What I love about using this camera is that you can quickly change settings using buttons, dials, or switches without having to navigate a menu, which comes in handy when you need to change settings quickly for things such as event coverage, documentaries, or reality TV. The other great feature about this camera is the built-in NDs, so no more wasting time putting on and removing ND filters. This camera has saved me a lot of frustration, and I'm glad I've made this investment. Now paired with this camera is the Sony 24-105mm, which covers most use case scenarios, and I power the FX6 using Switronix V-Lock batteries. Now, for you filmmakers out there, I know, why V-Lock instead of gold mount? Initially, I had these batteries for my A7S and they do the job. Down the line I'll probably upgrade to gold mount, but for now V-Lock does the job. As for audio, I'm rocking a Rode shotgun mic, 2 Rode wireless Go's, and a Zoom H1N. The shotgun mic is used for general audio or backup audio, while the wireless Go's are used for interviews. Lastly, the H1N is if I need any extra audio. As for the remainder of the gear I have, I just got some random things on top of my cabinets, but what I really want to talk about are my Gunpla collection and figurine collection. This is a blue RX-78 I got from the Gundam store in Odaiba, Japan. Next to it is the Gundam Asteroid Dragonix from P Bandai. Currently it's the most expensive figure I've got, about over 300. The next two are the Gundam IKEA Avalanche and the RX-93-2 Hainu. Another figure I got from the Gundam store in Odaiba is the Gundam Unicorn Perfectibility, and behind it is the original Unicorn Gundam. The two of them make a good pair, and on top of my right speaker is the Quanta see-through version, also from Odaiba. I don't typically like see-through versions of Gunpla, but the green parts were a really good combination with the blue. To the left is the 00 Razor, my first Gunpla. I'd say it has to be like one of my most favorites out there. All the other tiny figures I got were from Gachapon machines in Japan, the Pokemon store in Shibuya Parco, meetups, or received as gifts. Lastly, links to the gear I've mentioned are in the description box. Be sure to like this video and subscribe. I'll be coming out with more content soon, and I hope this video gave you a few ideas for your own workspace setup. If you do want to share your workspace, you can do so by joining my Discord. I'm Kevin, and that's a wrap.